It's Tales from the Jails, folks. John G. Sutton. Yeah, that's me, by the way. Don't forget to get my book, HMP Manchester Prison Officer. It's there on Amazon. We'll talk today about the Home Secretary, Suella Braverman. She's got a nerve, seriously, got a brass neck. She was in Parliament, she stood up and said, seriously, I mean, you don't believe me, go and have a look. It's in Hansard, by the way. She said, words to the effect of that she is insisting that the Metropolitan Police conduct a thorough investigation into the problems concerning complaints about police officers. And just she said, do not be surprised if there are some terrible revelations. Some terrible revelations, really. They've just locked one guy up, 24 rapes, 49 accounts of sexual assault. He's not been sentenced yet. And she's telling us to stand by. Police constable, this, yeah. Stand by for some terrible revelations. They've got four police officers in the Metropolitan Police who've just been receiving disciplinary notices. What do you think they were doing? Strip searching 15-year-old girls. Stripping them off. Right down. Get your kicks off. Panties down, the full Monty. What's going on? And then we've got another kid. I mean, these are all in the last week or two, the last few days. Yeah, we've got another guy. What's his name? Richard Watkinson. Yeah, age 49. A chief inspector of police. Chief inspector. Just found dead at home. He was about to be charged with distributing thousands and thousands of pornographic images of children. Alongside two of his colleagues who have subsequently retired. They've been charged, but he didn't get charged because he was found dead. Obviously, dead by his own hands, so it seems, although there hasn't been a coroner's verdict yet. But they say there's nothing suspicious about it. Seems to me a bit suspicious, a chief inspector distributing thousands of images, of indecent images of little children. Don't you think? I mean, Gary Glitter was into that, wasn't he? Does any of you know how Gary Glitter got arrested? He took his computer into Curry's or PC World or something like that because it had stopped working, and when they were repairing it, they checked on the photographic images file and found thousands of pictures of little children indecently exposing themselves. I mean, it's a terrible thing these days. Where are they coming from? And a chief inspector, it's hard to believe. You know, my father would have been absolutely appalled. I mean, go back to the 1950s and 60s and early 70s when my dad was an inspector in the police. It was considered to be a vocation, you know. And the police weren't like it is today. My mother had a stall on the local market selling offcuts from the mills because she was a weaver, you know. And she had access because she knew all the mill owners and all the rest of it because she was a good weaver. And she used to sell all these offcuts on the market. The police issued a notification to my father that she wasn't not allowed to be in trade. She wasn't allowed to run a business because he was in the police. So she had to wrap that all up and go back to being a weaver, you see, because she'd set up this business. And it was very successful. But the police stopped her. I mean, it wasn't indecent images. Absolutely unthinkable that a police officer would do anything like that. Back in the 50s and 60s, police officers used to be treated with respect. It doesn't quite seem so these days, does it? It seems different. Anyway, it's pretty much the same with prison officers. It was considered to be a reputable profession. A reputable profession back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s. It very quickly deteriorated, I feel. And what are they going to do now? People are asking me here, so why don't they ask me? They won't ask me. They've got a think tank in London attached to Downing Street, yeah, where they have psychological professionals working out new methods to control society. And one of the ways that they thought they would control the prisons is by bringing in female prison staff. It's from the philosophy of an ancient Chinese philosopher called Lao Tzu, L-E-A-O, Liao Tzu, T-Z-U, yeah, who said that the way to overcome violence is through peace and love. So that's what they're doing. Peace and love, people, yeah. That's why you've got your sister's best friend marching up and down Strangeways. Seriously. I don't know how many of you watched the documentary last night. Many of you would, on HMP Wormwood Scrubs. I haven't seen it yet. I've taped it. I will be watching it this weekend, mainly because I'm busy working, and doing things like this. Yeah, which I sincerely hope you're enjoying, by the way. Larry wrote a poem for me. Something about me chasing goats. And I don't actually do that, But it's very thoughtful of you, Larry, to do that. I appreciate it, and I will print it off and I will read it. The next time that I'm doing a broadcast, I will read your poem. It basically amounted to a bloody insult, by the way, implying that I was interested in buggering goats. No, I am not. I'm not from the wilds of Yorkshire. And I ain't got flat cap, lad. That all. Anyway, it's now that time of day, so that's what I said. I was sincerely worried about the police force, the way it's going. My brother was a police inspector, and he never got up to nothing like that. I mean, he was a boozer, Definitely going out boozing. That's what the CID did in them days. You used to see the CID all around the pubs. You could recognise them, standing at the side of the bar, talking to the barman, with a half a bitter. That's what they used to drink. Standard drink, half a bitter. They're not allowed to do it now. Not allowed to drink on duty. I mean, how do they get the information? Do you know how they get the information? They don't. They're not bothered. You get broken into, ring up the police, they're going to say to you, do you have any CCTV? No CCTV. Have you got any witnesses? No witnesses. Oh, well, we'll give you a crime number then. We're too busy to come out. That's it. That's your lot. Back in the 50s and 60s, they take the details, go and see you, everything up, exactly what you'd lost. Then they'd go round the pubs asking, who's done this? Anyway, world's gone bloody mad, if you ask me. And how are they going to cure this thing with the prisons? Listen, they're going to pay proper wages. Then they've got to have each serious big prison has got to have a regular mufti squad training every week, specifically to deal with violence, but regularly every week. And you're going to have at least 4 on duty all the time that are tooled up, ready to go in case anything kicks off. And if it kicks off, you deal with it. There you go. I did yesterday what I did yesterday. George Formby. Can you see me mother? Turned out nice again, didn't it? Well, it didn't. I mean, some people didn't like it, but anyway. This is the song dinger, folks. That's it. You're warning now. You're getting warned. Look out your window, you'll see Larry with his wellies running over the moors chasing his billy goat. Billy Goat Gruff, yeah, go for it. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to sing you a song now. It's not so much a song, it's more of a recitation, I would say. And as we're in the Yorkshire mood and the northern mood, I'm going to do a very famous song by Gracie Fields, who recorded this in the 1930s. This is the biggest aspidestra in the world. I've got an aspidestra in our lounge, well, my wife has. It's not as big as this, though. For years, I'm going to do it in the Gracie Fields voice, by the way, so stand by it. It's not going to sound like me, really. For years, we had an aspidestra in a flower pot on a whatnot near the hat stand in the hall. It didn't seem to grow till one day our brother Joe had a notion that he'd make it strong and tall. So he crossed it with an acorn from an oak tree, and he planted it against the garden wall. It shot up like a rocket till it nearly touched the sky. It's the biggest aspidestra in the world. We couldn't see the top of it. It got so blooming high. It's the biggest aspidestra in the world. When father's had a skinful at his pub, the bunch of grapes, he doesn't go all fighting mad and getting into scrapes. You'll find him in his bearskin playing Tarzan of the Apes up the biggest aspidestra in the world. We have to get it watered by the local fire brigade. So they put the water rates up £0.50. The roots stuff up the drains, grow along the country lanes, and they came up 1/2 mile outside the town. Once we hired the Crystal Palace for a hothouse, and a jealous rival went and burnt it down. The tomcats and the moggies love to spend their evenings out up the biggest aspidestra in the world. They all began moaning when the buds began to spread up the biggest aspidestra in the world. The dogs line up for miles and miles, a funny sight to see. They sniff around for hours on end and wag their tails with glee. So I've had to put a notice up to say it's not a tree. It's the biggest aspidestra in the world. It's getting worn and weary, and its leaves are turning grey. It's the oldest aspidestra in the world. So we water it with 1/2 pint of Guinness every day. It's the stoutest aspidestra in the world. The Borough Council told us that we've got to chop it down. It interferes with aeroplanes that fly above the town. So we sold it to a woodyard for a lousy £0.50. It's the biggest aspidestra in the world. Gracie Fields. What a character she was, eh? Do you ever see that song? She said, "Donkey, little donkey." People bought them records and played them, My grandfather loved Gracie Fields. She was from Rochdale, I'll tell you who else was from Rochdale. G.H. Eliot. I won't tell you what his stage name was, but look him up on YouTube. G.H. Eliot. Yeah, you'd be surprised at what he recorded. He wouldn't get away with it today. In fact, he'd probably be in the Wormwood Scrubs. Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Don't forget my book. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to buy a plant, get an Aspidistra.